Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. As I previously mentioned in my last video, I've got another rifle to take down on the range and test out. I'm laughing to myself, right? This rifle, I'm going to say I didn't really want to test out. It was requested by a few of you viewers who asked me to try out the newest version of the BSA CLX Lightning. Mark Two Smoke and Barrels is kindly loaned me this rifle to do tests on it and see if it's an improvement over the one I tested not so long back. Now I've got to say the BSA Lightning CLX SE GRT, what I tested out, has been my lowest scoring rifle on the vanometer. I gave that a 5.5, and I think in hindsight I was being overly generous for that rifle because I found the rifle quite awful, to be fair, and what let that rifle down was the goddamn awful trigger on it. There's no getting away from it. I can't sugarcoat it. It was an awful trigger. It was creepy, and it had such a high pull weight on it. A few times I'd honestly thought the rifle had grown an automatic safety catch, and the safety catch was indeed applied. It didn't do that gun any favours whatsoever, and it didn't matter how I adjusted it, it was still a heavy, awful trigger. So this little one we've got here, now this has got a totally different stock on it straight away from its predecessor. It's got a different suppressor on it than its predecessor, and it must have a different trigger. Right, let's just show you. It's got Manelli stock. It's a weird one because they've put a sling swivel in the rear of the stock, which is handy because it stops people marring up the stock trying to fit a sling to the rifle. However, there isn't one on the front, on the barrel, which is just plain weird to me. The rifle is not an excessively heavy rifle. According to the stats, it's supposed to be 3.2 kilos, but it doesn't feel that. It feels, I'd say, a mid-weight rifle. It feels about equivalent to HW95, and I'm going to be comparing this a lot to the 95. It is 110 centimetres long from the rubber recoil pad to the end of the suppressor, and this particular model is in the Beechwood stock. It has got cut out here for you guys who like shooting thumbs up position, and I've got to say this stock is extremely comfortable, as was its predecessor. The balance point is just in front of the trigger guard, and it fits lovely in the hand, and it is a very pointable, ergonomic rifle. Not knocking that at all. Comes with the maxi grip scope rail. Now I've been moaned at before when I've said this is 11mm, because I've been told it's a 13mm, but I've had some of these with 11mm maxi grips, and I had some with 13mm. So if I say it's 11 to 13mm scope rail, no one can moan at me then. Right, let's just talk about the aesthetics of this rifle. It's very pretty stock. The bluing on the cylinder is absolutely fantastic. It's a lovely light blue bluing. But then I've got to say this because it needs to be said. Now this rifle's retails between, depending on where you shop, between about 420 to 470 odd pounds. So it's at the same price point as what a Varel HW90 is, not 90, sorry, 95. And it's certainly more expensive than a 99S. Right, so I'm going to be really critical of this rifle here. The bluing on this cold hammer forged barrel, which is one of the selling points of BSA, is absolutely shit. It is shocking. No, it isn't good. It doesn't marry up to the cylinder. Now, I thought there was corrosion or something on this, or it was a second rifle. It is really rough. Now, considering what this rifle is competing alongside, which is the HW 95 or 99S, the bluing on those rifles is absolutely superb. So I want to get this right close to the camera, and I want to see if you guys can hear this. Hang on. It is rough. I'm gobsmacked because if this was, I've got to say straight off, for all the good points on this rifle, and there are some good points which I'll cover, if this was sitting in a gun rack alongside a 99S or a 95 and you picked them up and went to cock this, the first thing your hand's going to contact with when cocking it is the barrel, and you're going to feel how rough this is, and you'll probably do what I did and it's like, what's going on here? It feels unfinished. I hope the inside of it isn't rough like that. Right, I'm going to stop going on about that because it really bugs me. Positive lockup. I've got no problems with the breech on this. There's no barrel wobble or anything like that, and it's a positive lockup. It's all metal inside, no hint of any plastic or anything. It's got a metal or steel breech block on it, and it locks up absolutely lovely. The firearm cycle on this is day and night better than the GRT, which I tried out not so long back. It is a totally different rifle. It's very quiet. This suppressor on the end and the quiet action, it is extremely quiet. It's a lot quieter than the HW80 I tested recently. So all good there. The trigger, guys, the trigger. Now this is the thing what let the GRT down. I've got to say, this is light and day, totally different from its predecessor. It is a good trigger. Is it comparable to a record unit? No, but not many are. However, it's a two-stage unit. It is a definite wall there, and it is nice and light, and it actually adjusts, and there's no creep in it. It is really good. I'm genuinely impressed. Compared to the other Lightning trigger, this is by magnitude a lot better. It really is. It's got the safety catch on the back, manual safety. Let's say a 2-stage adjustable trigger, what actually works, and it feels good, and it is nice and light, no creep in it. Does it shoot? Well, I've only shot it at 10 meters, and I always, before I take any guns out to the range, I'll do my 10 meters shooting, just so I'm on paper at 35 or 30. BSA Gold Stars at 10 meters. Now I know 10 meters isn't far and you can't judge your gun on 10 meter accuracy, but it gives you an idea of what it's capable of, or what you should expect at further ranges. And I'll just put that little splatter burst up there. I put 5 rounds of Gold Stars through a hole just slightly larger than the diameter of a 177 pellet, so it's, the potential's there, fingers crossed, touch wood and all the rest of it. I'm going to say this even before I get it out on the range. This gun will not score as high as what it possibly could, purely for the finish on this barrel. It feels unpleasant to touch, I've got to say, and it's a shame, because if it had the same finish as on the cylinder, I would be highly recommending this rifle. But when I'm doing this like review as such, I've got to think in my mind what its competitor is, and like I say, just through what the finish is on this particular rifle's barrel, I would say go for an HW95, just because it's finished better. So come on BSA, what are you playing at? You're going to need to up your game here. I don't know if it's this particular one. I will check on another rifle that Mark has in the same model as in the shop, and see if that one's got a rough finished barrel. But I will say, what could be this rifle's saving grace is when I get it on the range and take it out a proper distance, say at 30 meters, if it's shooting pellet on pellet through the same hole kind of thing, that's going to be its saving grace. But I've got to say, this is immeasurably better than the previous Lightning I tried, a hell of a lot better. But the price point, I expect a lot better finish than what's on this particular barrel, and so far that is my only fault with it, because it's a lovely quiet rifle to shoot. And if you guys can look past the finish on it, I'd probably be recommending this rifle. However, like I say, I've got to take it out at 30 meters. Now during the week I will take it out on the range, and I've got a guest shooter with me, and we're going to have a little bit of a competition. So it'll be a 2-part video, in the sense of it will be like the continuation of this, and plus a little bit of fun competition with my guest shooter. I'm not going to give it away who it is, but I'll just have to wait and see, guys. And with that, guys, as always, cheers, and I'll catch you next time.